All right, good evening. I will call our listening session to order, our last listening session of 2023. Thanks for being here. We do have a quorum. We don't have anybody pre-registered, but I do see a familiar face in the audience. Are you hoping to speak tonight, or were you here to listen? Or
No, I just came to listen, so yeah.
it might be a quiet listening session because we don't have anybody pre-registered.
Okay.
Typically what we'll do is we hang out for a few minutes here to see if anybody comes running down the hall and trying to catch us. If not, we adjourn and head downstairs. So we will see. Hello. You here to speak this evening?
Yes.
Perfect. You're just in time because we don't have anybody else on the agenda, so we're glad to have you here. You can step right up and you can be first on our agenda this evening if you'd like.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you come on up and sign in if you could, and I'll give you the quick ground rules here. We generally parse out the time based on the number of folks we have. Since you're the only person, it makes it easier. We limit folks to no more than 10 minutes if there's nobody else on the agenda. So after you get signed in, if you could just identify yourself and off you go. All right. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. I'm Brent. Live at 8121 Oakland Avenue South,
Brent, if we could have your last name just so we have it for the record.
Weens, Brent Weens.
Thank you.
So I work for Weldon Sons Plumbing, and apparently my truck is too large. So I'm just requesting a waiver. I have a letter from my company just meant, pointing out that it's our policy to have the employees take the trucks home, park them at their house, dispatch directly from our houses. So that's really all I got. You can ask me questions.
So you got a letter from Environmental Health, I'm assuming that
Not environmental health, just my company saying it's our policy for the employees to all take their trucks home.
okay, so you haven't been contacted by the city yet. So
I did, yes.
who did you, that's what I was thinking. Environmental Health is usually the department that would go out and contact you. Was
Right, I did get a letter.
You did get a letter. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And the concern was that the box truck is just too big to
Too
be
large.
parked. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, you can see on the picture, it does fit in my driveway. So,
Jenna?
It is our policy on like work trucks or trucks like that. I guess I'm just curious. I don't know. I know what our RV policy is. That's not an art.
We relaxed it a little bit 5-6 years ago, but not significantly. Do you have it at hand?
I don't have it at hand, but mayor members, this is something that we're definitely aware of. It's come up before in that in some cases, people drive a sedan as a company car, and in other cases, they drive something larger. And so it's certainly something that we're aware of and actually have it on our list of things to look at in 2024. But with regard to your specific situation, I think I'll just get your address and then we'll follow up with you separately.
okay.
That works.
And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that we have a formal waiver policy.
We do not.
I don't think we do. We don't necessarily look at these as individual one-offs and try to make a decision based on that. In fact, I think one of the last changes that we made was an attempt to avoid that kind of thing, because then it became a matter of, well, how far out into the driveway and how big is it and that kind of thing. I think we said it pretty specifically in an effort to avoid trying to make the decisions on a case-by-case basis. But as, this is Melissa Manderscheid, who's our city attorney, so she would, she's hiding behind the mask here, you might not recognize her. But so she would know, and if, to take a look at your address and figure out exactly what the possibilities are and what the solutions might be,
Right.
if there are any, and then we can get back to you and reach out to you. if that's
Yeah.
Okay.
Brent, can I ask, where's your company based at?
It's in Plymouth. They're actually currently moving shops like last weekend to New Hope, but 10 minutes away.
So it's a practical difficulty for you to have to go into work and get the truck on a daily
Right.
basis.
Yeah.
But like I said, in the letter, we don't do that. Everybody takes their trucks home, so.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would say that's probably been more a practice that's been adopted more and more after the pandemic, just because people are able to dispatch from home and use remote tools and that kind of thing to get their work orders and that kind of stuff. So, I think it's a good idea that we're looking at it in the coming work plan. And hopefully we can do something that would either, to your point specifically, if there's an employer that has a policy that we put that on file and have that information or, can put some kind of a process together.
Mhm.
I think that would be great. I definitely see it, more and more in my neighborhood as well. And then, to your point, the trucks are out every morning, doing their routes, doing their, things of that nature. And then it's just overnight. So it doesn't violate the 24-hour policy that I know we have.
Yeah.
For sure.
As it applies to RVs. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or even like street parking, right?
Yeah.
You can park it on the street, but you can't leave it in the same place for more than 24 hours, I think is our rule.
Something like that, yeah.
So even that doesn't get violated regularly with these kinds of things because you're out every morning moving the truck to go to work.
Yeah.
So, okay, great. Well, I think that's great. Thanks for thanking me for that.
Yep.
Did you want to keep these for your file or?
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah. Thank you, Brent. Council, any other questions?
I would only echo that I think it is good for us to look at that. So, like, I mean,
No.
the pandemic, so many things have changed.
I know.
Like you said.
Yes.
People
Mhm.
launch from their homes and.
Absolutely. You can see that with like Amazon delivery trucks, right? So there's so many folks that have their distribution.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever those things are called, the little box trucks that they use for that. That's such a distributed network now that people can often just like go from here directly to the
Yeah.
delivery shop.
You know the city.
But,
Yep.
get their
Good.
packages,
Thank you.
do their route and then go back home for the day kind of
Well,
thing.
and I know there's a difference in the trucks too. There's the box truck, then there's a
Right.
step truck, and then there's a variety of trucks that I didn't know there were different names for them. To me, they were always just trucks, but
Sure.
yeah, there's a variety of different sizes and regulations of regulating them and then the consideration. Agree with both of your points that it's changed since the pandemic. I think the reason it first came up was it's great for the person with the truck, might not be so great for the neighbor, it's so
Yeah.
something to consider. Well, thank you, Brent. Appreciate bringing it forward. All right, we'll give it to one more minute, 5 minutes to the hour, and then we'll head back downstairs if that's cool with everybody.
Could I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Because like, if you decided that you weren't going to change it next year when you discussed it again, what are people like me supposed to do, I mean,
No, do we,
I don't have options.
Mhm.
That's just the real hard part.
Yeah. No, unless.
The boss says no, the city says no.
Yeah. And then I think the solutions we've seen in the past then is that you rent a spot where you can park. And I know, for example, in behind, I think it's Chief's Towing has got a large parking lot back there where they do this exact kind of thing, where it's a matter of folks who have construction vehicles or whatever too big to park in a residential area, and they're down in New Market, but rather than going there, they simply go and they can pick up their stuff at Chief's Towing. And so it's that I think has been the solution for other folks who have been affected by this.
Mr. Mayor, I've also seen it at like our storage facilities will have
Yes.
space as well.
Yep. Mhm.
I remember being on a ride along over the summertime and the gates went out and like 6 people were trying to park their big vehicles in their storage spot, you know, and they couldn't get in. So we were trying to figure out how to make the
gate work.
Oh, yes, it was pretty funny. So quite a comedy of errors. Didn't know our Bloomington police respond to those, did you?
All right.
They used to-
Brent, any other questions?
Something.
Okay, sounds good.
Have one in that case. So we can go in.
All right, council, I don't see anyone else coming forward to speak at tonight's listening session. With that in mind, I'd look for a motion to adjourn tonight.
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned. We will head downstairs. Thank you all very much.